Hey guys, welcome to the Weekly Bytes. It's November 21st, 2 days to Black Friday. Let's dive in. It was announced yesterday that NVIDIA is going to start bundling Battlefield 5 with all RTX card purchases. That means that when you buy an RTX 2070, 2080, or 2080 Ti, if you like it toasty, then you'll get a copy of Battlefield 5 to showcase what ray tracing can do in real time on a game. Unfortunately, for everyone who purchased an RTX card prior to November 20th, 2018, you guys were the suckers, myself included, for buying a card when there was no game to really enjoy the full potential of ray tracing, and NVIDIA is going to punish us for that. Thanks, NVIDIA. We throw you our support, you throw it back in our face. The least you could do is make it retroactive so that the rest of us get Battlefield 5 as well. In other news, it looks like Samsung's new Galaxy S10 coming out next March may sport a whopping 6.7-inch display and an insane 6 cameras. I don't know what they plan to do with 6 cameras. I think the most we've seen on the back of a cell phone is 3 cameras, and correct me if I'm wrong, but that was the P20 Pro. And then the most we've seen on the front, I think, is 2 cameras, which is 5 cameras. What's the 6th going to do? Is it going to be the retina scanner on the front of the phone? Maybe they'll bury it below the display. Who knows? But 6 cameras, 6.7-inch display, those are the rumors. We'll have to wait until March for confirmation, but sounds interesting. For Civilization 6 lovers, that is the game Civ. It is an old series. It started out with Civ. It's now at Civ 6. There is a release of a new expansion pack coming up in February 2019. It's going to be called Gathering Storm. Well named, given that one of the big features it's going to introduce is real-time climate change during the game. While you play, your choices will affect what happens in the environment. If you burn fossil fuels too long, you're going to induce global warming. There may be volcanoes, hurricanes, floods, rising tides, all kinds of new things. And to go along with that, a UN-styled universal government later in the game to allow all of the players in the match, whether they be AI or real people, to vote on resolutions that will affect the climate change and other aspects of the game. It's actually kind of cool. I'm looking forward to it. I own both Civ 6 and its first expansion pack. I'm really looking forward to the new expansion pack, Gathering Storm. Gonna have to wait another almost, 1, 2, 3 months. Time will tell if it's any good, but I've never been disappointed with a Civ release recently. So, in other software news, Microsoft decided to release the final version of the Windows 10 October update. I mean, it's a month and a bit late. They released it 1 or 2 times before this, and users experienced no shortage of issues. Microsoft thinks they fixed the issue. They're pushing the update out. It went live last week to select users. It's rolling out to a wider audience as we move into later November and early December. Some of the new features in this new update have me very interested. We have a new cloud clipboard, so if you've signed into multiple devices, let's say your desktop, your laptop, with your Microsoft account, then when you copy something on your desktop, you can then paste it on your laptop. I think that's pretty cool. I mean, one has to weigh the upsides and downsides. You don't want to be copying your, social security number, your social insurance number, your credit card number, because everything gets dumped onto the cloud. But you know what? For copying an image, or if you're a student, you're copying your essay because it takes too long to copy it to a USB drive and paste it back on your laptop to go to class with, something like that, the cloud clipboard could be really cool. Another cool feature coming to Windows 10 is the ability to integrate with your Android smartphone. This means that you'll be able to tie Windows, your desktop version of Windows, into your Android smartphone, be able to read and reply to text messages, see your most recent photos on the fly, Sounds pretty promising. One thing I don't know yet is if you're going to have to install the Microsoft launcher on your Android phone to be able to take advantage of these new features. I would be against that because I like my stock Android experience. But if there is a way to run it with stock Android and maybe install a different Microsoft app that doesn't affect my interactions on the phone side, I'm all for it. The last big thing that the Windows 10 has had, I know it doesn't usually go into the same sentence with Windows, is Linux. Microsoft introduced something called the Windows Subsystem for Linux, WSL for short, and it allows you to run Linux side by side with Windows in the Windows computing environment. A lot of users have loved this feature. Microsoft has recognized that there is support and enthusiasm for these features, and they continue to add additional functionality and features to Windows to support the WSL platform. Windows 10 October update is no different. They've beefed up the functionality even further. You're going to have to dive into the release notes for the specifics, but for all you Linux lovers out there who also want to work on Windows, or maybe you're forced to work on Windows by your organization, this is only good news. Lastly, Google announced recently that they've made it very easy to access the Google Assistant on the iPhone. On Google phones, it's very easy. You say, "Okay, Google," and off you go. The Assistant is invoked immediately. Unfortunately, unless you launch the Assistant separately on an iPhone, there was no previous way to enable it or access it. They've now changed that. Now you just have to, it's kind of a hack, but you just say, "Hey Siri, okay Google," and then continue with your query. And the "Hey Siri" invokes Siri, which invokes, when you say "Okay Google," it invokes the Google Assistant and starts listening for your query against the Assistant. It's a lot more words. You've doubled the words, a whole bunch more syllables, but maybe people will use it more on their iPhones now. I personally haven't used Siri a lot, so I couldn't say whether or not it's comparable or even better or worse than the Assistant. I use the Assistant from time to time. It's not a go-to, like I pick up my phone and I start using the Assistant. But to each their own. iPhone users who want to use it, it's much easier to use now. Anyways, guys, that's the news for today. I'll be back again on Friday with more news. Tomorrow we've got another episode coming out. Be sure to watch it, tune in. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up if you like these episodes. We need to know that you like them. Give us a thumbs down if you don't like them, and leave a comment so that we know what you want us to improve on. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button on your way out. Have a great day.